Good morning, Jss1 students, and welcome once again. We are going to look at revision on angles. For some time now, we have been looking at angle as a topic. Today, we'll be doing a summary of what we've done before. Like we said earlier, we said an angle is the amount of distance between the directions of two lines or surfaces where they meet. And we have two figures on the board. We have this angle for the first figure and this for the second figure. We said that we have line OA and OB meeting at this point or surface to form our angle. We call this angle AOB. We call it angle AOB, and the arms are referred to as these two lines. We call these two lines the arms, as we said earlier on, and they meet at this point to form angle AOB. Now that takes us to naming of angles. We talked about the two ways of naming angles. The first, the one letter and the three letters ways of naming angles. And we said using the one letter to name angle, for us to name this angle, we call it angle O. Angle O. With this symbol directly on top of the vertex O. We call it angle O. For the three letters, we say angle AOB. AOB. With the vertex, the letter that represents the vertex always at the middle, and this symbol on top of the middle letter. They are always written in capital letters, like we said earlier on. We have our angle AOB with our letter at the vertex. Letter, we call it angle AOB or angle BOA. That's AOB or BOA. Whichever way we are using, just ensure that our O, which represents our vertex, should always be at the middle. Now, for this second figure, for us to name this angle, the first angle here, we call this angle AOB. Angle AOB for this part, from here to here, we call it angle AOB, or we can call it BOA. That's for the first angle, and the second one here, we call it angle BOC. That's BOC. BOC, or we call it angle COB. So that is how we're taught how to name angles. We also have classification of angles. We talked about classification of angles ranging from acute angles, that's angle less than 90 degrees. We talked about the right angles, that's 90 degrees. The obtuse angles, more than 90 degrees but less than 180 degrees. Straight line angles, that's 180 degrees. And we talked about the reflex angles, the angles that are more than 180 degrees but less than 360 degrees. I think we went for to look at how to use the protractor to measure angles. How to use the protractor to measure angles. Now we're going to look at some examples on the board. For the first question A, we have to find figure A. We have to find the value of x in figure A. In figure A below, and find the lettered angle in figure B. This figure B and this figure A. From figure A, we have to find the value of x. Take note that this angle formed here is 90 degrees. So the sum of these three should give us 90 degrees. We say 2x plus 3x plus 4x should be equal to 90 degrees. Since this forms 90 degrees, the sum of these three angles should give us 90 degrees. We have to find the value of x. Since we have like terms here, we add 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 4, we have 9. So 9x is equal to 90 degrees. How do we get x? We divide both sides by 9. We divide both sides by 9. So we get 9x over 9 equals 90 degrees over 9. 9 will cancel 9. We're left with x. 9 into 90, we have 10. So our x is 10 degrees. Our x is 10 degrees. Now, 2x. 2x is equal to 2 times 10 degrees. and that will give us 20 degrees. That means where we have 2x should be equivalent to 20 degrees. Our 3x should give us 3 times 10 degrees. That's equal to 30 degrees. So where we have 3x should be equivalent to 30 degrees. Then our 4x will give us 4 times 10 degrees, and that is equivalent to 40 degrees. So our value of 4x should be 40 degrees. Since we say this is a right angle, that means it forms 90 degrees. If you add 2x plus 3x plus 4x, it should give us 90 degrees. We say 2x is 20, 3x is 30, and 4x is 40. If we sum all this, 20 plus 30 plus 40, that should give us 90 degrees. The second figure we have here, we have to find the letter, and we have P, Q, and R. P, Q, and R. How do we get this? Now, we find that this is a straight line, and we have 73, we have 27. How do we find our value for R? We say that a straight line angle makes up 180 degrees. So 73 plus 27 plus R gives us 180 degrees. So we say 73 degrees plus 27 degrees plus R is equal to 180 degrees. And our reason is angle in a straight line is equal to 180 degrees. So 73 plus 27, we have 100 plus R is equal to 180 degrees. So our R will now give us 180 degrees minus 100 degrees. So our R is 80 degrees. Our R is 80 degrees. We go over it again. We have a figure on the board. This is a straight line, and we have another straight line. Since we are starting with R, we have our straight line, and these are the 3 angles that form the straight line. This plus this plus this should give us 180 degrees. That's what we have here. Our reason is angle in a straight line is always equal to 180 degrees. 73 plus 27, we have 100 plus R equals 180 degrees. Our R will now give us 180 minus 100 degrees. Then we have our R to be 80 degrees. Our R to be 80 degrees. Now, angle P is the same thing as R. P is the same thing as R. Our angle P is the same thing as R. And the reason, I gave the reason previously, vertically opposite angles are always equal. Vertically opposite angles are always equal. This angle is vertically opposite to this, and so they are equal. So since our R is 80 degrees, so our P is 80 degrees because P and R is equal. And our reason, we say vertically opposite angles are equal. Vertically opposite angles are equal. That means P is equal to R. We have our R as 80 degrees, so our P is 80 degrees. Now, how do we find our angle Q? Since we now have P to be 80 degrees, 80 plus angle Q forms a straight line. We have a straight line here. 80 degrees plus angle Q forms a straight line. So we say P plus Q equals 180 degrees. And our reason is angles in a straight line equal 180 degrees. We have established that our P is 80 degrees. So we have 80 degrees plus Q is equal to 180 degrees. So we collect like terms. Q will give us 180 degrees minus 80 degrees. Our Q is 100 degrees. We have our Q, that is our angle Q here to be 100 degrees. Let's take it all over again. We have figure B, but to find the angle PQ and R. For us to find angle PQ and R, we have a straight line here and another straight line. Now we know that angles in a straight line sum up to 180 degrees. Having said that, 73 plus 27 plus R forms this straight line, which is 180. So we say 73 plus 27 plus R is 180 degrees. and our reason is angles in a straight line is equal to 180 degrees. We add this to get 100 plus r is 180. So our r will now be 180 minus 100. We have our r to be 80 degrees. Since we have gotten our r here as 80 degrees, our r here we got it to be 80 degrees. This angle is vertically opposite this, and so they are equal. I gave you this property of an angle. Angle P is vertically opposite angle R, so they are equal. So since our R is 80 degrees, therefore means that angle P will also be 80 degrees. Having said that, we have our angle P to be 80 degrees. For us to get our Q, this is a straight line. So we have 80 plus Q, which is 180. So our Q will now be 180 minus 80, which is 100. Also, we can get our Q by saying we have another straight line, Q plus R is 180. Since we have R as 80, our Q will be 180 minus 80. We still have our Q to be 100 degrees. That's another way. Another way we can see get our angle Q is that this angle Q is vertically opposite this angle. Our angle Q is vertically opposite this angle. We sum this to get 100 degrees. That's equal to our angle Q, which is 100 degrees. We can apply either of the properties to get our values for our unknowns. Okay, let's look at this example. We have a figure on the board. We have to find the lettered angles in the figure above, given reasons for our answers. We have letter D and E. How do we find the unknown, which is D and E? Now, what do we do? How do we find our D and E? We apply the properties of angles here. We know that a triangle has 3 sides and 3 angles. We have this, and this as the 3 angles. Now, how do we find our angle E? We can say that angle E plus 148 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Angle E plus 148 is a straight line, so it's equal to 180 degrees. So, give reasons for your answer. So, our reason will be angles in a straight line. It's always equal to 180 degrees. So E plus 148 is 180 degrees. Our E will now give us 180 degrees minus 148 degrees. We subtract, we get our E to be 32 degrees. Our E is 32 degrees. That means here we have 32 degrees. Now, if we now add 32 to 148, we have 180, which is a straight line. How do we get angle D? We now say angle D plus E plus 112 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Angle D plus angle E plus 112 degrees, we have equal to 180 degrees. And the reason is sum of angles in a triangle. Sum of angles in a triangle equals 180 degrees. Having said that, we have established a value for E, which is 32 degrees. So we say angle D plus 32 degrees, that's for E. Now plus 112 degrees is equal to 180 degrees. Now D plus, we add this to get 112 plus 32, we have 144. 112 plus 32, we have 144. Now, so our D plus 144 is equal to 180 degrees. Now, we add these two to get 144. From here, we collect like terms. Angle D will now give us 180 degrees minus 144 degrees. We subtract, we have our angle D to be 36 degrees. So our angle D is 36 degrees. Let's take a brief summary to find angle D and E. I will say since we have a straight line here, we have 148 degrees. For us to get our angle E, we add these two to get 180 degrees. Now angle E plus 148 we have as 180 degrees. The reason is angle in a straight line is always equal to 180 degrees. Here we collect like terms. E will now give us 180 minus 148. We subtract to get 32 degrees. So our angle E is 32 degrees. We also know that sum of our angles of a triangle is 180. The sum of the 3 angles of a triangle is always equal to 180 degrees. So we say angle D plus E plus 112 is 180 as we have here. And the reason sum of angles in a triangle equals 180 degrees. So we have D plus our E is now 32 plus 112 is equal to 180 degrees. We add these two to get 144 144 degrees. So our d plus 144 degrees is 180 degrees. From here we collect like terms. D will now give us 180 degrees minus 144 degrees, and we have our angle D to be 36 degrees. We will stop here for today. I gave you so many assignments which I'm yet to see. I want to urge you all to do your assignments and submit. If you have problems, if you have questions, you can pen it down and submit in school. I will do the corrections and see return back to you. Stay safe and goodbye.